I'm going to give you some really good, solid tips for building your business on the side, part-time, limited time. And it's not going to be your usual tactics, strategies, that kind of stuff. It's going to be deeper. It's going to be more core, more fundamental, and more essential, in my opinion. For those of you guys who don't know me, I built my business part-time for over 9 years, and that was mostly by design. I was in a healthcare career that I loved, and I was building a business really for later in my life to have more choices when I got closer to retirement because I didn't want to leave my job. I loved my job. So a lot of these experiences I have were when I was building my business part time. So let me jump in and give you these tips. Number one is make sure that you're leveraging technology as much as you can. Technology has never made it easier to build a business. When I first started building my business back in 2008, there wasn't near the amount of technology that you could leverage in your business as there is now. Make sure you're doing that. I use a lot of apps, a lot of Google Chrome extensions, a lot of tools in my business. And in fact, my tribe has been bugging me to put together a list. So I finally got together a list and it came out to 44 Chrome extensions and websites/tools that will help you leverage technology in your business. If you want that, go over to bobandrosemary.com/toolbox. One of my favorites, it's called Momentum. It's a Chrome extension. I believe it's also an app for the iPhone. And I have it set up so that when my computer starts up, the first thing I see is a page, and it's usually some beautiful sunset, sunrise, mountains, ocean, some kind of beautiful scene that I'm looking at first thing. Puts me in a good mood. And it asks me only one question. What do you want to focus on today, Bob? What do you want to focus on today? And if you know me, you know that the one thing is huge. Focus on the one thing. So this kind of gets me focused right away. And I have to type it in every day. It's a blank, and I got to type it. What's my main focus today? That really helps set the stage for me to really focus in my business. So that's one of the apps that I suggest. I've got 44 total in that download if you'd like it. So go check it out over at bobandrosemary.com/toolbox. So go check that out for sure. That's tip number one. Make sure you're leveraging technology. Tip number two, you really need to adopt this phrase. I'll do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. I'll do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. I see so many people dipping their toes in the water. Like, I'll give this a shot for 30 days. Anytime I see somebody saying the phrase, I'll give it a shot, I know it's probably highly likely that they're not going to make it. Because with that mentality, with that mindset, you're already setting yourself up to give up. If you're going to dip your toe in the water and try something for 30 days, chances are high you're not going to get the results that you were expecting, and you're going to give up and move on to the next shiny object. And there you go. You're on a hamster wheel. New thing after new thing after new thing, and getting more and more frustrated. So do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. For as long as it takes is key. I'll be honest, I was really challenged in my business in the first 3, 4, 5 years. And an interesting thing happened to me that kind of made it worse in a way. In my first 6 months of my business, I popped a big sale. Back then you could do Google AdWords. And I was doing a Google AdWords ad. And I popped a big sale, like a $2,000 sale. And I thought, this is easy. This is going to be simple. No problem. So all I did was I pumped extra money into these ad campaigns. And I never made another sale. And I ended up losing a bunch of money. And while that sale was cool, it kind of set some unrealistic expectations in my brain, because this business is not as easy as that. Yeah, you might get lucky and pop a sale, but until you've got things going in your business where that you can make that consistent, you're really not on your way yet. So be careful and understand that there are going to be times where you pop sales and you don't expect it, and that's great, but there's going to be probably longer periods where you don't make sales in the beginning. And you have to be okay with that. Do it for as long as it takes. There was no way I was giving up on my business. Absolutely no way. I was going to go for as long as I needed to go. And ultimately, I pushed through. I made it. But if I'd given up after 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year, 2 years, I'd still be in that job, probably with a whole bunch of health issues that are due to stress that I had going on. So you have to develop a certain mindset that I'm in this for the long haul. This is going to work. And this leads into my next tip, which is time is going to pass anyway, whether you build a business or not. Time is going to keep going. Time doesn't stop for anybody. So if you don't do this, what's your plan? What's your freedom plan? Do you have one? I mean, I know that your home business is your plan to get the freedom. But if you decide, I've had enough, I'm stopping, I'm not doing this anymore, what's your alternative plan? What do you got? Most people don't have one. And if you don't have one, I would say, why not keep going in your business? Keep trying, keep pushing, because the time is going to pass anyway. Whether you push for 2 years and not get results, or just sit around for 2 years in your job, that time is going to pass anyway. So why not keep going? I know it's not the strongest motivation, but it's the truth. It's what I found. If I quit on my business, I would have sat around for the next 5 years and time would have passed anyway. And I don't know where I would have been. My next tip is reframe your struggles to challenges. If you've noticed, I haven't used the word struggles at all before this. And I used to use it a lot. Oh, I'm struggling. Oh, this is a struggle. I have so many struggles in my business. Struggles are negative. Struggles almost feel to me like victimhood. I'm struggling. Help me. That mindset will keep you broke. It'll keep you not getting results. It'll keep you stuck. Switch over that struggle mindset to challenges. Challenges, it's more positive, right? It's a challenge. I'm going to get through it. This is challenging, but okay. Big difference, struggle versus challenge. Watch your words. Your words are really important, especially when you're part-time, because it's very easy to get into victimhood when you're part-time. Oh, I don't have enough time. These other guys who are full-time have all the advantages. I can't compete with that. Oh, I'm struggling so much. It's very easy to fall into that language. And when you start using that language, your brain adopts that language, and now you believe it. Change struggles to challenges. It'll make a huge difference in your mindset and ultimately in your results. My last tip is slow down your learning. Now, some of you guys are probably going, what the heck is he talking about? He's always telling me to learn, so why is he telling me to slow down learning? And the reason is this. Unless you're just starting, chances are you know enough to get results. I made a huge, momentous mistake in the first 2 years that I was growing a business part-time. Huge mistake. I focused so much on learning that I didn't do anything. I'm one of those guys when I don't know anything, and I came from a totally non-business background, right? So I didn't know anything about business and marketing, and I had to learn. And that's true. So I jumped on webinars, which at that point in time were every night. I jumped on them every night and took great notes. I'm a good note taker. I'm a good student. So this knowledge, which is potential power, was in my brain, was in my notes, and it stayed there. Didn't do anybody any good, especially me. So here I am feeling confident. You're getting there. You're learning a lot. You're really beefing up your knowledge here, which was true, but it was all here. It wasn't anywhere else. So when I say slow down your learning, I mean slow down the amount of time that you're spending on learning and replace that time with doing. Think of it like a seesaw. I always make this analogy, a seesaw on the playground. On one side of the seesaw, you've got learning or consumption. The other side of the seesaw, you have doing or production. Consumption versus production. Consumption is learning, production, doing activities. Where I was, this side, my consumption was so heavy that it weighted down the seesaw. So now my seesaw was like this, with consumptions heavily weighting it down. And gradually, as I started lessening my consumption and increasing my production, it averaged out, which is where you want it. You want it about equal weights, consuming and producing, learning and doing. But most marketers are really heavy on learning and very light on doing. So take what you're learning, great, and then do something with it. Apply it. See what happens. Take a chance. Risk making a mistake. It's okay. Nothing's going to happen. The world won't fall apart. Get into activity mode and watch what happens. In the beginning, maybe nothing will happen, but gradually you're going to start seeing some movement because you're doing more. And don't do what I did. Don't become a smart guy who, if I relied on my marketing income, I would have been broke. I would have been homeless if all I had was my marketing income back then, because I wasn't doing, I was consuming. And I hope that makes sense for you. Okay, again, pick up my productivity toolbox if you haven't, bobandrosemary.com/toolbox for my list of 44 apps, Chrome extensions, and tools that'll help you leverage technology in your business. Totally free. I think you'll get a lot out of it. And when you get to the page, make sure you bookmark it, because you're going to want to go back to that page and try different things. Don't use all of them. Don't try to use all of them. Pick a couple that look interesting and try them out, but then go back to that page later on and see what you want to add.